One, two, three. Good afternoon, myself Assistant Professor Chetan Devashish Bose, and today we are going to do a revision of Module 2. Module 2 is all about ecosystem and biodiversity, so let us learn what is ecosystem. The ecosystem refers to all living organisms that we observe, okay, which is around us, and the study of this interaction and how this living and non-living people as well as non-living elements are interconnected. The study of that is nothing but ecosystem. Here we are going to learn about the interaction of human being with water, with air and soil and all other non-living components. So that is what ecosystem is all about. Now let us quickly learn about what are the various components of ecosystem. Components of ecosystem is elements of ecosystem, or else it is also known as components, elements or parts of an ecosystem. Well, the ecosystem can be divided into biotic factors, can be divided into abiotic factors, biotic factors, producers, consumers, decomposers, habitat, food chain and food webs. These are nothing but the various types, components or the elements of an ecosystem. When I talk about a biotic component, means I am talking about non-living elements. All non-living elements that you see is a part of a biotic component of your ecosystem, which includes water, which includes air, which includes a rock, which includes sand. Okay, they are non-living components, so they are abiotic components or abiotic factor. What is biotic factor? All living creatures that you see within your ecosystem is a part of biotic factor. Now when I talk about biotic factor, it means I am talking about all animals, all species, all fungi, all microbes, all types of plants that exist. Okay. So these are two major components of ecosystem apart from this producer. Producer are those living organisms which produce their own foods. Example, plants, trees. They produce their own food with the help of photosynthesis. Then the next is consumer. Who are consumer? Consumers are those animals or those species which are dependent on the producer or else dependent on some other animals or species for their food. They are known as consumers. Okay. They can be herbivorous, which purely eats plant. They can be carnivorous, which purely eats other animal, or they can be omnivorous, which eats plant and animals both. Decomposer is also part of ecosystem. When we talk about decomposers, we are talking about those microorganisms which feed on the dead animals or dead plants. Okay, they're dependent on dead animals and dead plants for their food. That is, we can say bacteria and fungi is an example of decomposer. Okay, ecosystem also includes habitat, that is specific geographical environment wherein the person lives. For example, some species live in desert areas, some species live in cold area, polar area, some species lives in grassland area. So even those habitat is a part of an ecosystem. Food chain and food web, the interdependence of all the animals on each other, that is known as food chain and food web, that is also part of ecosystem. Example, let us take an example. We have a grass, we have a frog, we have a snake, we have an eagle. Now eagle is dependent on snake. Snake is dependent on frog. Frog is dependent on grass for their own habitat. So this is nothing but food chain or food web, which is also part of ecosystem. These were nothing but the components of an ecosystem. I hope so you all are clear. Now let us learn about types of ecosystem with its unique feature, structure and functions in our next video. Pause the video.